I'm Linda Gibbs. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. You might notice I have a slightly different background behind me than I normally do. I have moved my craft room around this past weekend. Trying the other way has the ideal background, I guess, but functional wise, I'm big on usability. I was an ergonomics consultant in my life prior to this. And so I'm all about usability and ease of use and all the things. So trying this out as, oh, I even forgot to turn on my lights, but luckily it's a fairly bright day. So hopefully when I turn around, it's not too dark, because I was worried that if my lights were on, they're going to shine in the video. So that I should have tried that out, but I forgot to turn them on. I was busy watching a friend of mine. She has her live from 11 to 1, so she's overlapping me now. And so I was watching hers. And anyways, you know, you get lost into things. So I can't believe it's almost the end of February. Crazy. I forgot to say welcome. If you're new here, welcome. Happy to have you. If you haven't subscribed and you enjoy the video, don't forget to subscribe, like, share. Would love to grow the channel. Being close to the end of February, some of our promotions will be ending. So the starter kit promotion, where you can get the free Stampin' Positioning tool, that is coming. Is that okay? Now I'm confusing myself. Is that coming up or is that ending? Because that seems way too quick. I'm pretty sure it's current. I'm losing my mind. If Linda, if you're here watching, maybe you know, I've just totally lost my mind, because I was like, that seems really quick. Like February just like flew by. And then there was the bonus days for using your coupons from January. So hopefully you've used those if you have them, because they will expire and you won't get to use them. There is some pretty, I don't know if it's, I don't know, I'm excited, but I'm not excited. There was some big news yesterday that they have revealed that our stamp pads are changing. And there was a demonstrator over a year ago who let it slip that they thought these were changing. And I was so upset, because I was like, oh, I just bought Stampin' Storage for all my stamps, ink refills, blends, markers, which are now discontinued. So it's upsetting, because you go and purchase these storage things that you think it's gonna fit. You got your tool. That's awesome. Yeah, I'm liking it more and more the more I use it. Anyways, that's where the mixed feelings come in. But they do have a video for demonstrators that show, maybe it's out for the public, I'm not sure, that shows the size and how they compare to these ones. They're going to be narrower, longer, and a little bit thicker. But as far as I can tell, they will fit in both the storage from Stampin' Up!, the plastic storage, and the Stampin' Storage current stuff. It should fit. It's just going to stick out further because these are shorter. So that made me feel a little bit better. And they also have said that, so they showed us a sneak peek of the new ink colors for next year. Very exciting. One is a color from long, long ago that's returning, which is exciting. It's one of the ones I liked. And just, they're soft, they're beautiful colors. So that's exciting. So those are going to be released in the new stamp pad format. So they open and close, lid and bottom separate. You don't have to, so many people have troubles opening and closing and figuring out how to use these. Big news though is they're going back to the felt pads. So instead of the foam, which is what these current ones are. They're maybe when I turn it over, it'll be easier to show, but they're soft and they ink really well with the photopolymer. Whereas the felt, which is like your Memento ink pad, is hard. And so I love the felt pads in that I never had issues with them needing to be replaced. Like a couple of my foam ones, for some reason, certain colors did funny things and I've had to replace them, or I've gotten a tear, or just, you know, they're more delicate and they need more re-inking more often. Whereas the felt ones, I find they last forever and ever because our old version of pads were felt. So anyways, that's some big news. So we'll see when it comes out how people like them, and they look really nice. Probably less messy. You probably won't stick your hands in them the way you do now. I am a little worried about them being felt with the photopolymer versus the foam, but we'll see. So they're releasing those, and then it's not till 2027 that they're going to redo all the ink colors. And the other news drop that they did is there's going to be a big color revamp in 2027. So I'm like, oh, that just means, I mean, it's exciting because it's new stuff, but it's not exciting because it's, anyways, it's good. It's all good. They've given lots of notice. So, yeah, anyways, that's the news. On to crafting. Today, I'm taking Stamping A to Z in a little bit of a, it's still 3 cards. I don't know how long this is going to take, so be patient with me. It might be a longer live. I'm not sure. It might be shorter. It might be longer. I'm not sure. Because normally I do just random, not random 3 cards, but it'll be around a technique or a product or, you know, the how-tos. Whereas I have a monthly card club that I do, and my ladies, they pay $40 a month, and I send them a packaged kit of stuff. So in the past, it used to be different when we had rewards for hosts and stuff. So this year I had to change it up when things changed, and so we decided, for me, they used to purchase once a month or whatever, and then I would just send them a kit of cardstock and stuff to make 3 cards. Whereas this year we've switched it up, and I am choosing $30 to $35 worth of product that I also make the kits for, and then they get sent everything, and then they're able to make them. So it's been a little bit more fun because sometimes they'll have the stamp set, sometimes they'll have some dies, or papers or whatever, and so they have the stuff to use versus me just giving them all the cut up stuff and kind of just slapping it together. So I find it kind of is a little bit more adventurous, more flexible. I think they're able to make more afterwards with it because they've got the pieces and parts. Yeah, so all that to say, that's about the card club. We were trying to figure out, so I usually record our Zoom and then I post it in our group, and there's this big long-winded Zoom for them to go through if they're watching the replay and wanting to remake the cards. And so then a couple of them were like, well, why don't you just do it on your live on Wednesday? And we usually do our club on Thursday. So this way they can watch it now. I don't know. Well, Linda's in the group, so she can watch it now. And then tomorrow when we're making it, she'll already kind of have an idea of what's being made. And then the recording is the recording, and you can just, I feel like, because when we're in a group and we're kind of waiting for each other and talking, I don't teach as well, like my train of thought, you know, when you're stopping and starting. So I'm going to try this. Hopefully everybody likes it. It's a sneak peek for you as to what I do for my clubs. It's also, I'm featuring the lovely and beautiful suite out of the mini catalog. So you'll get a peek at that and just have some fun crafting. So let's get turned around and get going on this as oh geez, I moved, sorry, make you a little seasick. I moved one of my pieces up and now my camera holder doesn't want to spin. So, pardon the hand. Okay, that's not very bright, is it? And hopefully my mic is working. I just realized I have my thing plugged in upside down. I'm assuming it's working because nobody has said I cannot hear you. It does seem a little dark. Well, hopefully it's good enough. Luckily I mean, the sun's kind of gone, but anyways, okay, so let me just show you the suite and then we'll pull out the first card. So, oops, that's not part of it. Oh, I meant to pull out, I forgot. Okay, I was gonna pull out the kit as to what I sent to my club members. So what they got in their pack for this month was a full pack of the vellum ephemera. They got the pack of dies that is from the Paper Pumpkin, the January to March Beautiful Blooms dies. I like to use those dies because A, they're affordable, and B, they usually have words that you can use. So if you don't have the stamp, you can use the words. And what else did I include? The faceted circles. I included some DSP. No, I don't even remember. I meant to pull out a pack of stuff. Anyways, there was this, and maybe it was these ones. Pearlized faceted circles. A third of a pack, I think. I could totally be wrong. I totally meant to pull out a packaged piece. Anyways, all right, okay. So I was going to show you what's in this suite. So there's the ephemera. There's these beautiful sparkly circles. I think it's petal pink, calypso coral maybe, and white. But when you put the white next to a color, it just picks up whatever color you're using, which is nice. And then it's got this beautiful gold, what do they call it? Gold white ribbon. It's really soft. And there's 2 bundles in this suite. So there's like some leafy stuff with some sentiments, and then there's these beautiful cutouts, which I cut out things for the kits. And then there's this one that has all the florals, and it has so many florals that you can make really cool flowers with. I can't remember if I've done a video with this, but I'll show you one of the cards that we're doing. We're using the flowers from the ephemera, but if you have this, I'll show you what it looks like with the florals from the dies. And then there's the beautiful foiled paper, which has foiling on one side and then a little more subtle on the other side. So like these have I've given them what they need to use for their cards. All right, so I'll remove all that. The first card is just using, we're just gonna do a fun background with some inks, and then we cut out, I included a piece. So this is what your kit will look like. And then it has, so you would take out your pieces. This I've pre-cut. You would actually have just the piece. Don't look at that. You have that piece of gold where, because you would have the dies, you can cut out your own beautiful word with the gold foil. If you have double the adhesive, no, what's it called? Oh, this is one of those days where my words are totally escaping me. Anyways, the double-sided sticky stuff. I can't think of what it's called. Why am I? Anyways, if you have some, you can put some on the back so it automatically becomes a sticker, which is what I did with this one. But if you don't, you can, what I usually do is I'll try and put glue dots just kind of where there's the most bulk of, you don't need it though to do the whole thing. I just find it easier to have the adhesive. That's just laziness on my part. So then we just have two other pieces because we're using the florals out of the ephemera. And on this one, I used some gold gems that were from the Advent calendar from Christmas time. It came with that huge pack of gold. They were like gold dots. They're so pretty. So I have a whole container of them. So I'm like, why not use them? But we're going to make our own gold dots for this. So we're getting creative here. If you don't have them, if you have them, feel free to use the gold dots. That's just if you don't have gold dots, or if you want to learn how to make your own, then we can go that route. So then I'm going to take 2 of our blocks, and then I've got 3 colors. I've got Bubble Bath, Pretty in Pink, and Fresh Freesia. And I forgot to grab some water spritzer. Here we go. All right, and I'm just using basic white. You could use thick white, which is a bit more forgiving. You could use watercolor paper if you really wanted to use a lot of water. It does kind of get a little bit, ooh, you can tell this needs, sorry, needs to be re-inked. Get that nice and inky. And then I'm going to move this because I don't know if you can see on here, it's all spritzed, because when you spritz, it kind of splatters everywhere. So I'm just going to move my, and you want to get enough water that you don't see the ink. The ink's bubble sitting there anymore, because it's just going to soak into your paper and not have any movement. So once you've got your water, obviously you want to flip it, and we're just going to put it down, and it's going to soak in, and you're going to have a bit of excess on there. So you want to take a piece of tissue or paper towel and just dab that up. And then you want to let it dry in between, otherwise your colors will just kind of mush into each other and might turn brown, which you probably wouldn't want. So we're gonna speed this up a little bit. I should have done one ahead of time so that we can, adhesive sheet. Okay, it is just adhesive sheet. I'm losing my mind. See, a lot of my ink pads need some, I don't know, this one looks juicy. Maybe it's just me. Okay, so then we will spritz that also and wipe. And then we'll go sideways. Oops, see, I dripped there. That's okay. It does not have to be perfect by any means. Okay, and then we'll try that. Like, oh, my cord's not, okay, that's gonna be a, see, learning curve when you move things around. My heat tool is not plugged into a place that is easily accessible. It's easily accessible in that the cord is out of the way, but it's not easily accessible in use. Okay, then we've got, oh no, we already used Pretty in Pink. Almost made that error. Okay, so then I've got Bubble Bath. And this one's really hard to see because it's so light, but that looks like it's, especially when you put it down, then you can see the color, which helps. And then spritz. And we will go up and down this time. And in between. Oops, looks like, see, I was missing some water there. You can redo it. However, that just means, oh, sorry, adding more water. So I'm just going to try and add it to that. Oh, I spritzed the wrong side. I spritzed the side that, ugh, it doesn't want to, it wants to. Okay, so if I'm doing that side, we need to spritz this side. Is it gonna go? No, no color. Oh well, I just added more water. That's okay. All right, so then we're just gonna, and what you can do while you're doing your other stuff, you can put a block if you have the bigger block. Or we can use stamp pads, something to just, you know, flat. Actually, I think the glass blocks have more weight to them. So I don't know if I have two of these really big ones, but anyways, that will help it lay flat. Okay, so then we'll light those. And then we've got our beautiful, I did cut an extra of in white because I wanted it to pop up a little more. And obviously, so you could cut this out. You could add a foam sheet behind instead of an adhesive sheet, and then that would pop it up. But the other way to have it pop up, but not as much, is to add it to just more layers. Now you could do, oops, 2 layers of, what the heck is happening here? Got bent, that's what's going on. Okay, and then you can peel it when you're ready to stick it down. So now it just has a bit more depth to it. And then I'm going to come into my pack of ephemera here, and I want a gold flower and some leaves. Now you could, if you want to add color, I feel like our background is kind of the colorful star, and then we're just adding gold. But if you wanted to add color, you can always color the vellum from the back. I would color it from the back, so when you stick it down, it doesn't get rubbed off, because it'll dry, but not as, you want to color it with your blends that are alcohol based, because if you try and do it with your ink or water or the markers, which I guess are no. Okay, I shouldn't bother putting it in there because I'm just going to take it out again. Anyways, you could color, I will color another one. Oh, hi Beth. Oh, well, thanks for stopping in and watching. Isn't Yolan's live still going? Yeah, I was missing that. I was going to miss her when she does all the reveals. That's the best part. I really like the ta-das. Yeah, see, my paper is super wet. I think I'm going to use some glue here so we don't have any more pulls. Yeah, that was because that was that spot. I even added extra water. I'm rushing. So normally you would want it to dry fully. And it does. So right now this is still quite wet, so it's still quite bubbled. Whereas where it's dry, that kind of bubbly look goes away. If you don't like that, use thick white or even watercolor paper. Oh, wow. Okay, she's finishing. That's a quick one today. All right, so Then we have our flower. Now where the gold is, it doesn't show through, so you can add dimensionals, which I just realized I used up yet another pack of my large. I am forever running out of dimensionals. I think I think I used too many. I don't need to use as many as I do. I don't think. I'm a generous adhesive putter-oner. I don't know why. It's not like it's getting squished down and is going to be flat. But anyways. So if you fit your dimensionals on the back where it's got the gold, it won't show through. So no one will be the wiser. And then I can use a small one maybe here, which is probably enough to keep it up. And then what I like to do, so normally I like to hold these down with a dimensional, which I kind of, and on this it might not work so well because I didn't plan it since I already put some. So the easier way to do this is to add some adhesive if you haven't pulled a piece of paper off. And then you can come back and stick it on where you would like it. And that way it's kind of popped up as well. It's just holding up from the, in which case you might want to put, I'm going to put one here where it's double. Even if there's a line, it shouldn't show. And then we want one maybe over here. Down. I put my, I wasn't thinking. Okay, we'll put this here. And then I can put this here. And it kind of holds it. It holds it all together. Okay, I'll peel these. And then we've got instant beautiful flower that you didn't even have to do anything. And then we can peel our beautiful. You can put it above or below, however. So you can see it just has that little extra pop. I don't know if you can tell. Otherwise it would be a bit flatter and then your flower sticks up even more. Now, in order to do the dots, your paper needs to be dry, because if you try and do it wet, your gold embossing powder is going to stick to everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take just a piece of paper here and show you on here, because this is just going to be a mess if I try and do it. So you want to use your anti-static powder, and then you could use Versamark, but pigment ink works very well with embossing powder as well. So if you take a little bit, this is the white pigment ink, and then I'm just using the blender brush. This one is my designated white end. And then you can just come in and put your dots. So you have your, I did that funny. Let's put another one here. We'll just pretend that this is where this is around the flower, like this card. And ideally, and we'll just add our gold, and then it sticks to the white, and then you just actually let me put this away. before I have an accident. Embossing powders and accidents are not fun. Ask me how I know. And then if you are like me and you're burning your fingers on a small piece of paper, I like to use the tweezers. And I apologize for the angle I'm holding this at. My heat gun is at the end of its cord. But then you have your gold dots, your gold embellishments or spritz or however you want to do it. You could also flick some white. Now, if you're going to flick, I would do it before putting on the flower and the, my goodness, the sentiment. Okay, for those of you who watched before, I thought my brain was getting a little bit better. I started on some HRT stuff and I do feel like I can think a little bit better, but obviously my whole words have not helped. Hi, Debbie. All right, so yeah, so pretend that I did my gold dots on here. It's just too wet still. I'll have to do it when it's dry. But ideally, you probably should, well, see, here's the hard part with doing the embossing is you want to do your dots after because then you'll know where your stuff is. But if you could just lay your stuff down without sticking it, put your white dots on, take your stuff off, and then add the powder and then add the stuff. Because otherwise it's just going to stick to everything when you try and... But you want to make sure that that background is dry before you do that. So that's card number 1. So I did forget to say, when we do our card club, we do 3 cards. And usually the first one is simple, quick and easy, like this. This one had a bit of extra with the inking, but that's just fun, not really crazy. The second one is usually a little bit more intricate. And then the third one is always a fun fold. Not always. It could be a 3D project. It's something more than just a card. Just a plain card. So my next one has a lot of pieces and parts to it. This one, I had done a class. I don't know if it was a class. It was a event with a bunch of demonstrators. And Patty Bennett did a class with this suite. So my idea for this card came from one of her cards, but hers was like way more, had way more folds, and I was going to do it and it was just getting too much. So I simplified it and anyways. So this is the version of the card with the die cut flowers. So like I said, if someone had the bundle that goes with the suite that has all the die cuts for the florals, you could do just a die cut flower. But since my card club folk, I provided them with the ephemera, the pack of ephemera. Holy moly. That's the flower that we're going to use. Now this is the one that I'm going to show you that we can color and add a bit of color if you don't want to just leave it all gold and white. So this was just an example. We do have, so this one had, like, it had so many, this is the downgraded version of Patty's version. But so anyways, this is the one that we're doing. I ran out of flip flaps that go up. So this one I used the sideways one, but the idea of this one is that you have, it's a gift card holder, so you can, they open, so you could slide your gift card, which fits perfectly, which I don't have one handy, I usually do. You could slide it in here, and then you can have your sentiment, and then a little message on the inside. You could put a picture here if you wanted, instead of another sentiment, but that's up to you. All right, so we'll put that one aside. So then in the kit. This is kind of, I do have a couple extra pieces in here because I did some cutting for the die cutting for myself. My club folk will have their dies from the paper pumpkin dies, so they will have the ones that they need. So I gave them the pieces of cardstock that they need, but they're going to cut out their own stuff, which is fun because I think it's fun when you get to do some of the crafting yourself instead of just me doing all the work and then you just kind of slap it together as you watch me do it. Like, you know, I like the, I don't know, that maybe it's because I like the hands-on, being able to work with my hands. So then this is kind of like I pre-cut these, so a piece of vellum and a piece of white, because I didn't assume that they have, so this is from the other bundle, right? That comes from this one, which is part of the suite. So I pre-cut those, and then there's a piece of white, and that is for the sentiment on the inside. And then, so they're going to get a piece like this that they can, if they want to cut it into a postage stamp look, they can. If they want to do a whatever, they've got a piece of paper for that. Then you've got your pieces of designer series paper. So one is for the inside of, so here's, they would have all gotten a flip flap. And then if I can figure out where the opening is, and put this piece inside here. And then this one's going to go on the outside. And then we've got this piece for here. Now on my original, I did do it like a binding, and I think I ran out, I ran out of this paper. So I decided just to, and the other thing is it's really hard to line it up well, and then it was buckling, and so I just thought it would be better if it's just a regular card. So first we're going to take this front piece and put that down. I'm pretty sure they're both the same size. Yeah. So you could just choose, they're the opposites of each other. So choose the one for the front that you like best. I'm going to put that onto here. And then we're going to put one on the inside, and that just goes flat. So I can do that now without messing up. Okay, so we've got those two. Then we can focus on the front for now. So this goes on the inside. This is for the inside. These pieces are all for the inside. So we'll just kind of set those aside. Then we can put this piece here on the front. So this one is very heavy on the designer series paper, and I am not, it's not the, I mean, I think they make the prettiest designer series paper, and I buy it and I have hordes of it. Ask Yolande, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just have so much stash, but I need to use it. And so Patty's style is much more bold and bright. Like if you saw hers, this is like totally subdued compared to, so this one's a little bit out of my usual comfort, but I'm trying, you know, you try new things, and then not everybody in my club likes the same thing, so maybe somebody will like this more than my plain Jane whatever. Now on this one I have it plain. I thought, why not try and add a wee bit of color to the background here. So I've got the fresh freesia, which is one of the colors in the suite. And it does, I mean, it looks very wonky right now, but it kind of, when it dries, it just kind of dries nicely. And you're not going to really see it anyways because it's going to be behind the flower. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for now. Now, in order to attach this, for those of you who have worked with vellum, you know that if you put adhesive, it's going to show. So you do where the beautiful is going, you could put a few glue dots behind the words to stick that part down. The other part is where the flower is. So I can just, I'm going to put kind of one, of course, it didn't. What's going on here? Stick where the ink is. Maybe because it's wet. This is very strange. I have never had these problems before. Oh, and I don't want to use glue because the glue shows. Ah, I wonder if it's because I have the ink on here. I have never ever had, I guess you don't usually put adhesive on an inked, like normally it would go on the back. I'm sure anyway, there we go. Okay, that worked. It just needed a little bit of drying. Holy moly, I'm having troubles today. Okay. And then I'm going to try and center it. And hopefully that'll stick even though it's wet. And then I am going to add glue behind my words here right away. But first I'm going to put my flower on so I can kind of figure out where my words are going to go. So I'm going to pull out my ephemera again. And I'm going to use the gold again. There's gold flowers and then there's the clear ones. But there was fewer clear ones, so I think my last card uses the clear one and I wouldn't have had enough otherwise. So we're going to use a gold one. And I'm going to use not that one. It's probably easier if I just punched everything out and had it in a little bin, but you know, I have to do it the hard way. So it just seems to be the way I roll. All right, so then we need one of these. And we need a single, why do I not have a single leaf? I might have to use this one, which isn't the end of the world. But I was sure I had made it so that it would work. Alrighty, well I guess we're using the double leaf. Okay, that is okay. Maybe we'll use this one. Or maybe none, we'll see. So now, if you want to add a bit more color, maybe you're a colorful person. This is subdued, this is gold and whatnot. You can totally add some color if you have alcohol markers or blends. You can use, so the color that is in the suite, if you're ever wondering, you can look, they give you the basic ones here, and then on the back of the, I don't know if they listed in here as well. Yeah, so wherever the specialty paper, it lists all the main colors that are in the grouping. So the green, you know, is Old Olive. So then you can come in and you can just color the back. Now, if you want to be able to see the leaves, it's kind of hard right now. I don't know if it would help being on a piece of white. You can see it a bit more. I don't know if you hear the banging in the background. I know the dogs is dreaming and the tail's going. So you can, and it does take a little bit, it doesn't soak into vellum, right? So you got to give it a bit of time. Oh, I don't know if those I don't know why I'm bothering with the lines because there's the gold there. That kind of looks silly actually. So you can actually come back in and get rid of that. There's no mistakes with vellum and blends. You just have to come back in. It is a bit darker, but then you want to let it dry because otherwise it'll smudge everywhere. So if you want to see how that's going to look, I don't want to smudge it, but just so you get an idea. I don't know if you can see that even. So maybe I shouldn't have done it on the purple because now it won't pop as much, but say it's on the white, then you've got the green kind of coming out in the background. So now that I've done one green, I'm going to do the other one green so that it's, and you don't really have to be uber precise. Just enough to get a little bit of color. Now this, this vellum is thicker than our cardstock vellum that we have. So it does show less. So you might want to go darker. Like right now I'm using the light bold olive. You might want to even, like before I don't want to do totally dark, but if I add some of the dark here, and then when I come back in, then I can just spread that out a bit and it'll be a bit darker. There. That actually looks kind of cool without seeing the leaf. You could use it on this side. But it looks like as it dries, you can start seeing the veining of the gold. Okay, and then kind of like last time, I'm just going to put, if I can get it to stick. I'm not sure what's going on there. I put a little bit of adhesive, and this isn't going to be super dry yet, so hopefully it doesn't smudge. I don't want a whole lot, that's a lot of leaf, so I'm just going to put it further down, and then same here, kind of maybe there. And then I can add my dimensionals. So again, if you kind of look where the solid parts are so that you can pop it up. I'm just trying to attach the leaves also while I'm at it. And then we're good to go. Now, the other thing you could do, like say you didn't put the purple in behind here, maybe you left it white. So, you know, with being vellum, you could take this off. So say I don't like the purple. I want to see what it looks like white. You could turn it around. Now it's white. And then you could see, I think the vellum pops more. And what you could do is you could, before you put the leaves down, color your flower purple where the vellum is. Should I color it purple? Or should I leave the... What do you think? Are you guys fans of the purple background? The leaves? Or the white background? I think I like the white better because like I said, I'm more of a plain Jane, but then I think I have to color the flower, which I haven't done. I wonder, hold on. I might be able to fudge this if this is the same flower. I don't know if it is or not. No, it's not the same shape. Shoot. I thought maybe I could put a flower on top of a flower. You like the white? Yeah, I think I like the white too. Okay, let's try take two. Okay, so we've got our white. So then I'm gonna grab my fresh freesia blends. And I'm gonna pull this dimensional off. So that's the nice thing with vellum is you can remove stickies. I mean, I do have a bit of adhesive stuck on here, so hopefully it won't be too sticky. This one you can go a little bit more rogue because of the gold. Let's see, do you really see it? Not a whole lot. Maybe just right in the center there where they, but I feel like I've got some adhesive in the way. But we'll try. We'll try and add as much as we can. Okay, I think that's as purplish as we're getting. And then I don't know if this dimensional is going to stick now that it's wet, but we will try. That's the problem with the live video. No time to let things dry. All right. So then I want to make sure that it actually fits. I can't remember if I popped this up. I don't think I did, but I am going to want to put my ribbon down before I stick this down, but I'm just trying to figure out, I want to make sure my flower doesn't go off my card. Okay, so now, before I completely stick this down, we're going to put our ribbon on here. Now, there is a trick to ribbon to making it easier, which I feel it makes it easier. I don't know if everyone feels that way. If I can find my punch. I have a really old, this was a Stampin' Up, well, it's Fiskars, but it was a Stampin' Up thing way back when. And I'm gonna, so I think my bow is gonna go right where my hole is. So I'm putting, so what you do is you come around, you go around all the way around, and then you stick it through again, except for I don't have a very good point. Okay, so then bring it through. Oops, as I'm off the camera. Okay, so then if you pull it, so that there's one on each side, it's almost like having someone holding the knot for you. Now, I don't know why I cut this, seems very short to me to make a bow. I might just leave it as, and snip it. What do you think? Should I try a teeny tiny bow? My big fingers I do not have little fingers. I wish I had little fingers. My sister has little fingers. All right, there we go. We did it. Okay, we got a little bow there. Now I know where to put this piece. And we put it on. So we'll just, now that the ink is dry, it has no troubles. It would probably actually work better, now that I've added all that, to just pop it up on dimensionals. Now, the trick, if you don't want a double layer of dimensionals, is to only put dimensionals where it's not already. So there's one right here, so I probably wouldn't want to put one here because that'll make it double thick. So I'm going to put one there instead. I can put one at the bottom. I can put one on the side here. And then I'm going to put another one up here since it was funny that way. And nothing in the middle because my flower is already popped up in the middle. And then it'll sit better because I kind of want to, maybe I put my bow a little too low. Oh no, I'm being silly lining this up. Okay, there. And then we're going to add our beautiful, which again I cheated and I used the adhesive sheet. So just peel. Ooh. Oh, that's the, I thought I just ripped my beautiful, but it's been a rough live today. Okay. It's all working out. And then like I said, I can come back in because this isn't stuck down. I can come back in and I can just put some glue wherever there's words so it doesn't show through the vellum. Then we'll stick that down. So here's the same card, only I colored the behind the vellum. Or you could do the opposite where you leave the vellum and then color the background like I had done. Or you can just leave it completely plain and that looks good too. All right, so then we need to do the inside before I forget. We're ready to move on to the to the next already. So the inside, you just have your piece. Oh, I totally meant to check that. Before you tie it, make sure that your string is flat. Ah. Okay, I'll fix that later. Anyways, okay, the inside. Never mind. Squirrel moment. All right, so then you want to put this down, but before you put it down, your check which way it opens. So this flip flop, the sticky is facing up, and you're going to put it here, and you're going to wrap it to the back side of the green. So to me, the easiest way to do that is to add some adhesive here. And because the adhesive side is up here, because I will tell you in a minute. So you've got your adhesive, because then you're going to stick it down here. And the reason you don't want to do it the other way is because you want to be able to access this opening from here to put your gift card in. Otherwise, your opening would be on the outside up here. which you could do as well if that's what you wanted your look to be or the way you want your card. So it's optional. Just keep that in mind. Ugh, it's static. It is so dry. Oh, I think it's been pretty warm. We went from freezing cold to everything's melting now after our big snowstorm again. It's like it snows. My snowbank is way above my head. Now it's melting. Anyways, so then the furnaces don't run, and for those of you who are used to humid, dry is like a whole foreign concept. Moisturizer on the hands, I don't know how many times a day. So then, like I said, you in the kit, you will have a piece like this that you can put in behind here, but you probably would want to cut it down because otherwise it'll show through, or you could use it as a frame however you want. I cut it down using the die, and then I'm just going to stick that here, and it gets hidden in behind the flap. And then you can add, there's these cute, you could add corners, you could add the corners to here actually. What I did was I took just a little circle and I put it on the bottom here, just a little bit of decoration. And then you could write your message there. And then on the front, so this is the one. There, you've got a few, like you've got lots of different pieces in the ephemera that you can use. So this one was a different piece, and then I added the white on front. In this case, I added the white on the back and I stamped. So I will show you. I think I have another one of those. So I might even add, excuse me, there's this one where you could do like happy birthday or something with the white behind. I will probably, but for now, I'm going to take this one just to show you what I did. I'll take this same one, which is, it's 1 inch wide, but you want to make it a little bit narrower. You could always cut it down. But anyways, I'm going to cut down to 1. Just under 1 I'm going to do. And then I think this is 2 1/4. So we'll cut it just under 2 1/4. Okay, so then we have our 2 pieces. Now, like I mentioned, our deal of the Stampin' Positioning tool here. I thought, so normally I stamp when you want to emboss with a color, obviously, that you don't have the color of embossing powder. I just use Versamark with the ink afterwards and clear powder on top, and it makes a really nice embossed look. Now I tried this with the vellum and it did not work the same. I'm going to try again and I'll show you what happens if it doesn't work. It's fixable. I ended up stamping this one. This one is basically clear on the vellum and I stamped behind. So we'll do the same thing if this doesn't work. And in order to, well, maybe I should make sure I'm in the right spot. Can always move it over. That there. So, oops. Now, in order to make sure that I get this paper in the right spot, if I have to do it again, I'm going to mark on my paper that this is where I line it up. And then, since I think I'm going to anti-static this because vellum is always more staticky than the next. And then we're going to take our Versamark. And, oh, nope. Actually, no, that would work. Let's do it this way. I'll go Versamark. Actually, oh no, I wasn't thinking. I totally wasn't thinking. So normally I would do Versamark, add some ink, and then stamp it all at once. But since we're using a positioning tool, we shouldn't need to. I could even go over top of this with some Versamark to make sure. Okay. Well, let's try this and see what happens. Oops, my magnets are sticking. Okay, then we've got our clear powder. Somewhat clear. It's got a few speckles of other things. And then we've got our tool. Now I'm going to let this heat up a little bit before I hit the vellum. I'm really not liking this placement of the heat tool, but I just need a longer cord and it'll be fine. Now see how it's basically gone clear. There's no color left to it. So we're going to bring back our tool. Now this, the words, "You're the sweetest," comes from this perfect little, I don't know if you've noticed it, the banner sayings that's in the mini catalog. It has a trio punch where you can just punch super easy banners. It's great. But the words are like perfect size for smaller. I was like, oh, this is perfect because I could use happy birthday. I could use whatever. So, all right, let's take our, now I'm using Mossy Meadow here. I tried my first one with Old Olive and I just wanted it as dark as possible. Why aren't we inking? It doesn't even look like it's there. That's easier to see. There we go. Okay, that's nice and dark. Okay, now a nice dark print. And if we did this right, we should be able to just line it up like so. So you could put it on the front or you can put it on the back like this. And then what I did to stick it together was I made sure I just did one straight line, because I find if you're using seal, because it's clear and flat, it doesn't seem to show, and especially these this vellum is so thick. Oops. You're the sweetest. So now it's stuck down so you can see it, and then you can just stick it down to there. Now you could put a picture of something if you wanted here, and you could put this at the bottom and have a picture, whatever suits your fancy. So that is card number 2. I told you this was going to be a long one. No, I don't think card number 3 is going to take too long. There's not a lot of, this is the fun fold, but it's not lots of techniques or inks or that kind of stuff. So moving on, try and move some stuff out of the way, make room. Okay, so for this one, now this is where I was hoping to have pulled out my kits that I sent out, because I do have one extra. Because I'm not sure if I pre-scored the long pieces or not, but this is, so this one is all white and gold. It's totally suited for a wedding, but the nice thing with this white and gold is you could come in and blender brush or use your blends, your alcohol markers, and color this in whatever colors you want. It does not have to be a wedding card, or it could be a very colorful wedding card, or whatever you want. This is, again, came from Patty Bennett. It was, I can't remember if I changed. Hers was pretty similar to this, I think. The other one I changed quite a bit, but this one is pretty similar. But it's just a fun fold. Now, it's not your regular size. It's not a 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It is 4 1/4 by 4. You could make it, because it's 4 here. I mean, it would take some jimmying, but you could make it so it's 4 1/4, but it's very easy to make it a 5 1/2 by 4 if you wanted to. So if that bothers you that it's smaller, but it'll fit in a regular envelope, it just won't fill the envelope. So once again, you will have a piece of cardstock. Now I've got a plain, this must be my template and I forgot to put the measurements. So let's take out our handy dandy, move the blade out of the way so we don't cut instead of score. And so I think it's the same on both sides. So if you score at 2 3 3/4, and then you could go to 7 1/4 and 9, or you could flip it over and go 2 3 3/4. So just remember 2 3 3/4. Now this piece is 4 1/4 by 11. So it's just a piece of thick white cardstock cut in half the long ways. Okay, so what did I say? I said 2 by 3 3/4. And then 2 by 3 3/4. Okay, so we've got those. Let's see if I did that right. Yep. All right. Step 1. Then we've got some cutting to do. So you'll have a piece of gold foil and a piece of the designer series paper. So with the gold foil, we're going to cut 4 pieces. So this should already be 4 1/8. Yes. And then we want 1 7/8. 2 of those. So we'll go 1 7/8 and 1 7/8. So we got 2 of those. And then we need 2 of the 1 5/8. So 1 5/8 is 1 1/2 plus an 1/8. Okay, so we should have 2 of those. And we have a strip left over. Okay, and then for these, the designer series paper, we're going to cut it a little. It's the same thing where we need 2 and 2, but if you look, and I don't know how picky you are. I can't remember if I ended up matching. It looks like it matched. So you want to cut a big one, a little one, a big one. No, a big one, a little one, a little one, a big one. If you want it to stay in order of the designer series paper. So but it's pretty, the pattern is busy enough that I don't think you're going to notice if you don't cut it that way. But anyways, so one is going to be 1 3/4, the big one. And then I'm going to cut a 1 1/2. And then I'm going to cut another 1 1/2. And then I should have 1 3/4. Yes. So if I keep this in order, then it'll be all good to go. Okay. So then we've got our gold pieces and our designer series paper pieces. And we're going to fold the inner one to the inside on both sides. And then we're going to go out with the second piece. Now, you want to make sure that it fits together. You don't want it overlapping, or it won't affect how it looks. I think you just have a bulky seam. So you just want to avoid doing that. So then you're going to glue down all your pieces. We've got those. And then now I don't think I provided it. This is an optional piece. If you want a piece of gold in the center, you can cut an extra piece, 4 1/8 by 3 3/8. But I don't think I provided that. And now I'm second guessing myself whether, oh no, I did. I was going to say, I don't know if I even provided the inside white. But I think I did. So you should have, I don't know if there is an inside white. I assume there is because there is one in this package and I don't have a note. And then we have the gold and white of those dies again. So I'm gonna, since I already cut my gold. Now, for those of you who covet your foil paper and don't want to waste it, you could totally cut out something out of the middle of this. You could even cut this piece out of the middle of it and then put your piece on top. I don't love that you end up seeing, and if you're trying to stamp, and to me it's not, when you calculate the price of it, yes, it's not like a couple cents, but it's also not a bazillion dollars, and it really makes an impact on a card. So I like to use the full piece. Sometimes, depending if it's getting covered by a few layers and I really won't see it, I will cut something out the middle, but I know there's one demonstrator in the States and she likes to use the metallic, and she'll cover it up, but you'll just see 1/8 of an inch, kind of like what we're doing now. And oh my goodness, she takes so much grief from people for covering it up and wasting it. But it adds so much to the card. Like, I don't know. So hopefully nobody comes on and hates. But it's a full strip of gold for sure. And then we're going to add our designer series paper. So you can see this one is like, it's easy peasy, but it's a fun fold. It's something different. Always like to have something a bit different, whether it's a 3D project, a box, a something, something, something. And this one just makes for a really fun, it could be like a anniversary. Maybe I'll change this one to an anniversary. I don't know, we'll see. Because I think my friend said it's their 30th anniversary this year. And I was like, what? That's crazy. And she's like, well, you're almost at 30 also. I was like, oh, I just feel like I just had my 25th. Crazy how fast that goes. Okay. We're not there yet, but they are hitting 30 this year. So maybe I'll keep this one as an anniversary. We'll see. All right, so we've got that part, super quick, super easy. My paper all matches. And then we're gonna glue these two together. I feel like I've bored you guys today. It's gone very quiet. Oh my goodness. Okay, hang on. Apparently me doing a live for more than an hour is too much. Okay, I'll just use a wet wipe there. Okay. Whew. Crisis averted. Okay. There we go. Okay, so, oh, that's why. Hopefully I didn't end up, did I use the extra flour? Okay, so we've got a gold. Oh no, because I was gonna see. We've got a gold and we've got a clear. And then, oh, I did end up using that one. I am missing a leaf. Okay, well, we can use the gold down here, but we wanted clear for our other one. I don't know what I did with it. Am I blind? What would it look like with gold on gold? Not as good. That's too much gold. Well, I might have to stamp. So I think one of the, yeah. Oh, but they're quite a bit bigger. Oh, I guess I could stamp these. Oh no, I do have, I can stamp it on vellum and gold foil it. I don't know if it'll be close or not, but for now we'll just use one set of leaves. And again, just pop them up. You don't have to watch me do that part. And then on this one I used Wedding Wishes because that was what this one had. Do we have an anniversary? I really like the font in these ones, but they're too big for this little card. But I do have an anniversary one somewhere. So I'm just gonna, and then I just embossed it in gold. Your live was a hot mess today. Well, maybe it's the day because I've been a hot mess this whole live. I don't know what's going on. It's is it like a full moon or something? Okay, so as a recap of our cards, I'll just set that one aside as I try and find some leaf alternatives. These are our cards. So this was card number 1, which this is probably my favorite. Plain, simple. I really like, I mean, this one for a wedding card I like. This one's a little more busy for my taste, but I like it also. Anyways, those are our 3 cards for today, and that is what we, this is an example of what we would do monthly with our kits. And the best part is when some of the ladies go rogue and create something totally different. I just noticed my camera is like in and out, focused, not focused. Yeah, it's seeing kind of the alternatives and what others come up with that is the most fun in all of this. So if you're interested in joining our monthly club, let me know. We can always add you for, so we usually go from September to June. So we've got March, April, May, June left, 4 months. So if you're interested in even just trying it and joining for 1 month and seeing if you like it, you can always reach out. You do need to be in Canada to join, unfortunately, for me to send you the product. But yeah, let me know if you're interested. And otherwise, I am, let me know what you thought today. If you've watched before my usual lives versus doing my club cards, if it was, you didn't really notice a difference, or if you prefer the other cards, or if you like being able to see what we're doing for club, let me know. I'd love to know what you think, especially when I'm trying something new. All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys coming out and watching me. It's always fun to have people watching, and I am not just talking to myself. So hope you have a great week, and hopefully we'll see you next Wednesday. Bye.